I want to welcome you to my channel and give you a quick look behind the scenes. It's going to look a bit chaotic and a bit messy, but I hope you get the idea of what's going on. This may look a bit of a controlled mess, but I can assure you it is a mess. So what I do is I make a small set with the Matchbox motorway. I'll just give you some overhead shots. As you can see, it's really quite tiny. And what I'm doing is filming it with the big Sony camera, partly because that I can actually see what that's doing on the monitor, and also with this little device here I can zoom back, which gives a wonderful effect. Zoom in and out. So the reason I make a small set is because everything can be quite controlled. I can move bits of scenery about, I can add fantastic cows and things, but the buildings are all quite flimsy. As you can see, if I turn that round, not very strong, but the effect I think can work out quite good. This is set up from the previous video. Let me show you how it works. Now inside this track is this spring, this little coil of metal, and that gets pulled around by these cogs. That's what drives the car. And what you do is you stick a little pin underneath the car. I don't know if you can see that, I hope I've got that in camera shot. And then you put the car on the track, like so, and magic, it moves. So, when I do a video, I will often start the video with a shot from a small set like this, and then I'll move on to a bigger set. What I do on this set is I move the cars by hand, because then I've got slightly more control over it. There we go. That's all me moving it. And this can be quite good because you can actually come in quite slow, whereas when you're using the power controller, everything wants to go a little bit too fast. And what I also often do is I will leave the camera in the same place, but then I will change the buildings about and add more cows. So once I've actually filmed on this set, I then often go on to this set. So let me put the camera down and show you a little bit closer on how this one works. Often on the sets you may see some rocks, and this is sort of something I would actually put on the set. And also something you may have seen is this tunnel entrance on a video. Again, it's really quite simply made, bits of polystyrene, bits of cardboard, and that's tin foil. But when it's set with some trees around it, it can look quite real. There's another rock for you. That is a shoebox, but hopefully believable as a rock. Also, we have extra grass and fields. These I just lay on the board. Trees. And the all-important bush. This is really, because this is quite good. If you've got cracks in your scenery or little gaps you want to cover, just put some bush down. So you can guess that behind all my bushes there's things I don't want you to see. and something I'm very pleased with. Now this is my die-cast road sign collection. They're all British made. I think they come from the late 1950s, 1960s, and they can really make a set look quite real. Some very good traffic lights there. Again, a lot of these signs you would have seen, and this is an original Matchbox Lesney petrol station. So I don't know where that's come from. That's probably more in scale with Dinky or Corgi. But these are great little signs. These are more in scale with the 175 series, and I think they're earlier. These ones probably are meant to go with Corgi 1 in 43 scale. And this is my box of little people. That's the girls. We have various things in there. That's rather a nice little greenhouse and a crane. So, and there's someone you will of course recognise well. That's our little man. So part of my fun is putting all these people out sometimes in places where you won't expect them, and that's in recognition of our wonderful Australian viewers. And this is a little man you may also have seen. This is the oh, there he is. That's the man with the cone. So look out in my videos for man with cone on head, and also look out for giant throwing woman. He's in quite a few videos. Nice. More girls. That's more girls. This is the mini set. It's sort of my alpine region, and I cut it into, it's actually made into 4 segments, so I can get sort of 4 different shots. The good thing about this set is, one is it's quite small, so the track goes quite smoothly, but the other thing is it's quite easy to light. So what we have is a tin of pineapple, partly because I use the tin of pineapple as the tripod. Then what I can do is, and this is going to be noisy now, I will turn the car on and you'll see. So very noisy, as you can hear, but I do get some really good shots on here. Just turn that down. But if you want to hear it go really fast, so that's how I do the alpine set.
Next time you're late for work, it's worth remembering that nothing gets in the way of a Land Rover.
They're built in England, in a town called Coventry. Competition-winning performance is blended with beauty of line and elegance of appointment to form the total car, called Jaguar.
So this is the main set. As you can see, I've got loads of LED lighting over it. Another one under there. Lighting is the most important thing. Let's pan it round. You can see it's quite large. For the POV shots of the car, I use a little Poloroid Cube. I mean, these are quite cheap, but the effect, very good quality. And I did try the GoPro car, but it didn't quite work. So what I did was I made myself one. I made myself a little Matchbox chassis, and I put a tilted platform on, and then that just goes on there, so that forms the camera car. Now I shall show it to you on track, and this is still set up from the previous movie, so I put it behind the car like so. Let's take the police blockade out of the way. So what I do is I hit that camera into record, and then I would start up the tracks. Oops. And this often happens with Matchbox Motorway. You see, I had no idea that was going to happen, but there's been a bit of a derailment. Something's happened, so I'm going to. Oh, but let's take Tanko off. Here we go again. And we're off. Something else has happened. Anyone who's got a Matchbox Motorway will know these things happen all the time. So here we go again. Now I start the car. Turn that off, but I will also use the same camera and I will put it down at corner level. So that's stage 3. That's the mini set, the Alpine set and the main set. When I've got all my footage, I then take it down to the computer and I load it up to edit.
Here comes the big news, the happy news, the big news in the low price field. It's the big news Studebaker. Big news Studebaker. Studebaker, 57 at your dealer now. See your dealer today.
So I load all the video in, and this is what it looks like, and you cut it into little blocks. Each of these little blocks is a different scene that I've cut, because you don't want the bit where the cars crash, or maybe you do, but you don't want the bit where the cars get stuck or don't work. So each of these is a little scene. All the scenes I filmed on the 3 different sets I cut together to form a complete movie. So, and what it looks like is this. That's what the movie looks like. Now all this stuff down here, is the audio, and what I'll do is I'll play you just a little bit of it, sample it. So what I do is, and the reason there's so many different channels is these are all different cars, and sometimes I like to make the sound move left or right. So to have control over the sound, you have to put it on separate tracks. If I want, I can isolate and just play a little bit like this. So that's just traffic background sound. But if I release it into the rest of the audio, you'll hear what's going on. So down here are just the skids, so I'll isolate those and play you just the skids. So on their own they sound quite boring, but if you drop them into the rest of the soundtrack, so that's how I do it. It's really simple. You should all do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for all your great comments. They sort of lift me up, and the fact they make you smile too is really good. So enjoy all my movies. Lots more to come. Bye.
Ah, what have we here? Poetry, nothing less. The dashing Bel Air Sport Coupe with triple turbine takeoff. Ultra-modern power for those who demand the very finest.